Well, hello everybody, and welcome to episode number 2 of the quarantine special of the coronavirus version of the Two Big Guys and Grover podcast from 3 different locations because we are self-distancing. We are way more than 6 feet apart. I'm Scott. Two Big Guys are Cris and Cody. How's your quarantine, fellas?
How's my quarantine? That's personal, isn't it?
That depends.
No, I don't know. I mean, I just don't. I've never had somebody ask me that. That's a first.
Well, what'd you do today? I mean, what'd you do yesterday? You didn't go to the office, right? Because that would be now almost against the law.
You really want to know what I did yesterday?
I do want to know what you did yesterday.
Okay, so we are on a stay-at-home order. I think it's called something so different everywhere in the United States. I don't know why.
Shelter in. It's called shelter in.
Yep. Here's what it's called. I'm going to pull my hair out, and there's a reason that my kids go to public school, and that's what it's all about. And
Hey,
What did you just do, Cris?
there was a little something in my pocket. You know what?
Go.
It was a pecan.
your virtual
from
background
earlier.
made it look like you picked your nose and threw it, though.
It was a pecan.
I'm picking up with his dad when he was in Oklahoma.
Remember?
So, hey, fellas. So here's the deal. You notice two guys have backdrops, and I don't because I'm on slow internet out here in the sticks of Missouri
In the undisclosed.
in the undisclosed
Area.
location.
Okay, so back to my day.
Yeah, back to your day.
Yesterday was the first day of our homeschool. So I spent my morning getting kids ready for school.
Right.
We had breakfast, and then they all 3 went to different locations in the house, and we set up their desk and their computers and got them going and tried to follow somewhat of a schedule. You know that I'm not a schedule person. So we did a schedule.
Right.
And the only thing I made sure I was on time for was lunch, and I was actually a little early, so that worked out really good.
First and last out.
Speaking of, we only have about 20 minutes because I'm getting hungry. So,
Hey,
I don't know how you could be
noticed-
hungry. Your wife just brought you coffee and everything else.
hey, it's the luxuries of working from my wife's
house.
home. Yeah, my wife's home.
Yeah, mine is too.
Mine is not. So she is actually
Cody's is at work
at the OR right now working away.
Hey,
doing medical stuff.
speaking of the homeschool process, right? Have you noticed on Facebook, it's like the largest parent contest in the history of Facebook. Everybody wants to show that they are freaking the best
Right.
homeschool teacher. And I think you see all those posts that says, 2 students suspended today, teacher sent home for health.
Everybody's
can
about to
promise
pull their
you-
hair out.
I can promise you will not see me make any posts like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though is the people that I see that are like, oh man, I'm missing this and I'm missing that and all I want are some French fries and blah blah blah. We're literally a week into this deal, and it's like, what's he gonna do? Go work out? And
I'm not
it's like
sure where
we're
he
a
just
week-
went, but it's okay. Look, I
like
mean,
a week into this deal and everybody's freaking out. I think something like this can be good. Spend a little time with your family. Do stuff you normally wouldn't do.
man,
It's
the
it's
last
different,
few days,
but come on.
yeah, the last few days I've gotten a lot of work done. We always say that either being on the road or in the office for a lot of people that are out there, or those rodeo people that are not working right now. Guys, how many times have you heard a rodeo clown say, man, I wish I just had like another month at home. I could finish out an act or work on a new act.
Yep.
How many guys are going to take the advantage to work on something and get it ready to go? Because you know what? We got an opportunity to come back and be better than we've ever been. Never in the history of our rodeo careers, any of us, have we had a break this long to do what we're doing.
No. Well, and I saw somebody post the other day that, hey, there was that closet that I haven't cleaned out for a couple of years, and I keep saying that I had no time. That wasn't the excuse. People, you still take advantage of situations, and make the most of them. I think Cris went to the bathroom.
I don't know where he went. I mean, it's one of those things where he is at that age now where he drinks about 2 ounces of water and he's got to go pee every time we turn around. So
prostate is enlarged.
Yeah. But back to what we were talking about, I think that's a great point. There are a lot of guys right now that could really take – and girls. I mean, how many women want to barrel racers or breakaway ropers, and our sport is growing as a Western sports in a whole. Take the opportunity to, one, give our animals a break.
Yep.
I mean, they're coming off anymore. It's you leave the NFR we've talked about and go right back into the next season. Our horses are getting a break. They're not pounding up and down the road. Our bodies are taking a break, and it's 15 days.
He's out of breath.
Did you go get a snack?
I was gonna say, did you go eat?
No. See, you guys can sit and rag, but here's the truth. My computer, when I walked down in here and we all got set up, I was at 94. I was at 94%. So the whole process of the last hour of figuring all the particulars out, I went down to 7% and I was about to die.
Well, I can tell you that I'm down to 27%. I'm in the same boat. And where I'm located in my undisclosed location, there is no electricity around me. So we get down to 2%.
I will say this. Cris was on time better for the podcast today.
I was early.
Virtual from his house. He was
able
to get to he's not wearing pants, but he was able to get to the studio faster.
Hey, I was also available and early at our scheduled time yesterday.
That's true. I was available at 4 o'clock this morning because I couldn't sleep anymore. But then I did a really good job from about. I really did a good job of sleeping from about 8 to 9.
Yeah. I've been okay with getting up early and doing it like that.
So, do we need to do a Western sports recap of the week? Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let me go ahead. Go ahead and pull those stats for us real quick and let us know what's going
guess
on.
what? If you listened to us last week, the standings are still the same.
But Chad Mayfield is still winning the title.
Yeah, actually, Chad Mayfield won $20,000 more this week. Nobody has any idea how, but there's $20,000 more.
Hey, how about interest on $800,000 that he's won?
Ooh, yeah, it's going up. And by the way, the coronavirus still working in the favor of Jess Lockwood and Jose Vitor-Lemay. They are still number 1 and number 2 in the world of the PBR.
Man.
Okay, so. Again, effects of our sport long term. This has never happened. You've got guys that you've got an opportunity for Jess Lockwood to heal and come right back, and never.
No, he's not healing and come right back. It's 6 months minimum.
Yeah, but
it just depends when we go. It's going to depend on when we go back to bucking bulls, when we're allowed to do it, when the events are going to start back up. There are already rodeos in the end of May. I saw one the 1st of June that is already canceled. It's unprecedented what's going on. The president came out the other day and said, I hope we're all having Easter together. So do I. I hope we can get this under control by Easter so that the middle of May we can go back to work and get gatherings back. And I think a lot of the reason that the rodeos have canceled, I think, is because of sponsorship. I really do.
Well, and I think if you go back to just the statement of what the president said, I think that's what, and not to get too far and deep and philosophical, but we do want to have it together. We do live in the greatest country in the world, and we have the opportunity to stay home and try and.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that want a lot of things. You know what? If it means not having Easter together and we slow this crap down, I'm all for it. Come on.
I am too.
I
saw the other day one of the greatest country singers of all time passed away, and they say now that they can't even hold a funeral for him. And it's just been completely overlooked in all the media and everything. Think about, there's not one person in the United States that doesn't know who Kenny Rogers is. And I don't care if you're 5 or 95, you know who Kenny Rogers is. And it's been overlooked due to this pandemic and a career and everything else.
And part of this is we did it. Us 3 did it. That it's isn't a big deal. Whatever. Well, then, and Cris, you posted the other day on social media. I shared it. But the sooner that we figure out that whether you think it's a big deal or it's not, it's here. So stay home.
Yep.
Be quiet. Do what you're supposed to do.
Let's
and then
get through it.
hopefully we'll get over it and we can
yeah.
get back to work. But as long as people are going on spring break and all, and you'll be mad at me, whatever, but as long as you're all doing that stuff, it's not going to work. So,
well, I saw
just do what
people
we need
bucking
to
this weekend.
Yeah,
I saw
there was-
videos online of people were saying they were bucking out, and there's 12, 14 guys on the back of the chutes. There's 5 guys in the in the arena playing rodeo clowns, and I was like, man, I love you guys, but this is wrong. This is not. I know it's frustrating. Shoot, I get frustrated. I know we get frustrated just being, not being able to go live our daily lives, not being in the office working, not being, all those kinds of things. But it seems like a small price to pay just to get through this.
Yep.
I mean, you go to the small business side. We're small business owners. Everybody knows that. It's Chris and I. We're a 2-man band.
We're getting
but
smaller.
You know what? And here's the thing. The people we try and talk to during the week, and everybody's in the same predicament. It's not like it's just us or it's just, just them. We're all in the same boat. And so it's like we're having to slow down. They're slowing down. And hopefully we all ramp back up together and we come out and we make the best of it. I know that there are a lot of people, a lot of industries that are not going to make it. I mean, we've got some good friends that run a hotel, and he had to let everybody go yesterday. And I can't imagine, he's got people that have been there 20 plus years, maids at a huge hotel here in Kansas City. They all got let go yesterday. They furloughed 2 employees. The one office lady to make sure that she can still do all the accounting, and him, and everybody else got let go.
Well, part of that
luckily,
is to take
Chris
the
and I
burden off.
We're already let go. I mean,
I was going to say,
You
Cody,
guys
we're
already
going
got
to
your pink slips.
Cody, we're going to have to adjust your pay this month.
my pay
to negative
$3,
negative 200. So I'm going to need a check from you. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the world of entertainment a little bit, because Feld Entertainment, who was the owners of Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, they let go 90% of their staff the other day, and that included drivers for Monster Jam, skaters for Disney on Ice, the new Jurassic Park, and one other show.
Now, hey,
they own.
is part of that, so is the process so those guys or those workers can apply for unemployment in the meantime, so it relinquishes the in-between responsibility, fiscal responsibility of the companies that they can apply for?
I think part of that is, but can a 1099 employee get unemployment?
No,
Okay.
You can't.
So the drivers, the skaters were most likely independent contractors on a 1099 basis. Now, I think the plan is that they're going to have those people back. That those shows will start back up. I'm sure it was a business decision. It probably made sense
To somebody.
on paper. On paper, it probably made sense.
Yeah.
Just kind of a scary, situation, which we're all in that as independent contractors. What I do as an announcer, what clowns do, I'm hearing guys that, Rodeo Houston shuts down after 2 weeks and those guys all leave. I mean, shoot, that, you got to think of how many performances Houston is and how big of a paycheck that was for Boyd and Bob and Andy Seiler and Leon Coffey and Cody Webster and Chuck and those guys.
Rump
The crew
and
that
Merritt
went
and
to
everybody.
Yeah.
The crew that went to Austin and was hanging out in Austin ready to start.
Right. The Velocity tours are canceled for now. We're going to make some of those up late summer, the way it looks. Wichita will be in August now. And there was another one that moved to August 15th. Dayton, Ohio, I think moved to August 15th. But, it's just a big gap out of our season, so.
Well, I can tell you, if I was a billionaire, or if I was one of those guys that had money to burn, I'd be broke in 3 weeks, because it's hard to get on there. And I know
trying to bail everybody else out.
Well, just you think of our industry, and it's the guys you just mentioned, and Cody, you mentioned them too. It's it's the Merritts, it's the Rumps, it's the guys who get up and down the road for entertainment purposes, but this is their livelihood, and to watch them. And I know some guys have been making light of it, but I think part of it's serious, just to let everybody know, hey, man, I might need some help. And, it's that whole thing of I'm rolling up and down the road now. I'm not. If there's anybody that has any work, it doesn't matter if it's hauling hay. I'll come haul hay. I'll come do construction. I'll come do whatever you need me to do. And, it doesn't seem like everybody's like, hey, whatever it takes here, if anybody has something, I'm willing to work my ass off. And I know part of it, people are just kind of trying to make light of it, but I think part of it's real too.
I want to chime in on that because I think it's a good eye opener and what a lot of people don't see in our industry, because they buy a ticket, they see a guy show up and they see a Rump, they see a Merritt, they see a Flint on that side, or John Harrison or Dalton. You can name any one of those guys from that are just starting in the industry to that have been in the industry a long time. We very rarely ever see a clown, an announcer. Announcer's a little different because they have a lot longer career. A bullfighter that have an exit plan in today's society as far as business is concerned. There's been a couple that you can go through, but most guys don't really, they just completely separate from the industry as a whole because they never had a plan beyond that. This has given us, I think, a micro look at what is really taking place in our industry, and guys can really pay attention right now and know that, say, hey, you know what? I don't really have anything else to fall back on, or I haven't really built anything else. And it's a good eye opener. And I know it's only 15 days or 6 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever it is. But guys, we're at a point right now where we have an opportunity to build and grow. And now we can see that we're getting a look that we don't normally get.
I think what'll help too is, I was just talking with someone last night about this, and there's people in our industry who are just, trying to make month to month, and, people who are kind of sharing their brand and building their brand. And we were fortunate enough, from 100X to have a great core group of people that helped us build that brand and all that kind of stuff. And I know the three of us constantly try to help out others. And I hope we continue to do that. It's like Webster, when he started selling apparel, and he was like, they're $30 just, they're $30, just give me what you want. And it's like, well, it's not a matter of giving you what, because we're in that same boat too. We're trying to make a living too. And if everybody has the expectation that they get a deal or they undercut somebody, I hope that people in our industry kind of get that to say, and I know we've talked about it before in private, but like for custom leather work. So something costs you $600, you could have got for $300 somewhere else, but it's custom. Someone spent, 14 hours doing that with their hands. So it's, it's supporting them how we can. And I hope our industry kind of continues to build on that, especially when we catch our momentum and get back up and down the road again, taking care of people and instead of, cutting people short.
Well, I think the same thing goes for even the national sponsors too.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna have to. We'll have to support each other for sure, especially when we can get back up and running and feel like we've got some. And it's just like the entertainers that are doing Facebook concerts or Instagram concerts. They're adding Venmos on there for tips because they're not making any money.
Right.
But they're trying to share what they've got with everybody and all of that. So
I keep trying to tell Chris to sign up for TikTok, and then in Venmo, he could do like these TikToks every day and make money. I mean, how many people?
Yeah.
See, do the truffle shuffle.
Actually, we like to think, Scott, you should do a TikTok.
See how
I don't even know
really
what TikTok is. I mean, I know it's a dance deal, but man, I just
come on.
Well, and I can't say I don't have time now, huh?
That's my point. You got plenty of time. You can TikTok like all day long.
Hey, so both of you have your phones right in your hands, right?
Mine's close to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's beside my coffee cup, which is extremely hot right now.
Well, okay. Well, ask Becky if she'll hand it to you.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. So let's do a Facebook scroll on your feed and your feed and my feed, right?
I guarantee it is post your best rodeo picture because that's what everybody's doing right now.
But you know what?
But it's fun. It's been fun to watch it though.
All right, so I'm gonna go first. Mine is constant. It's Rodrigue's Cajun Canines. Watch, Eddie Rodriguez and his 3 boys, Carson, Cade, and Jay, they train dogs, right? And so there are videos of them stant and all that kind of stuff. And so, but they're out on horses. They've got horses on back. Just watching them, be bored and be productive in the same time, right? So
be bored and be Cajun.
Be exactly.
Mine,
They Cajun now.
Oh, he is a coon, dude. He'll tell you.
Oh, they're fun. I like that. I like them guys.
Yeah.
Like
Mine, I don't know about your guys' Facebook, but I keep getting this quarantine beer chug thing pop up. Have you seen any of your friends do that?
No.
No.
That's something I could get into, though.
Quarantine beer chug. No, I've not seen that.
Okay. So if you type in quarantined with a D, beer chug,
yeah,
it's literally people chugging beers during
videos.
Quarantine. Yeah. And it is dude,
totally makes sense.
What you see is if you have anybody that's 30 and under, they still got it. If they're 30 and over, dude, they're having to stop halfway through and catch they're catching a breath. They're stopping.
Hey now.
No, for real. I really do. I have like 15 or 20 people that keep popping up on mine because I watch. You know how if you watch one thing, then it just keeps throwing stuff up. Yeah,
it brings the next.
Any of my friends that have now done it on here, and I don't know how many friends I've got on Facebook, a lot, but any of them that have shown it now.
13.
I got a lot of friends. Way to throw that out there. I don't know, but I got a lot.
Mr. Humble.
My point was, apparently I got a lot of friends that like to chug beers because they keep popping up on here. Now you, Mr. Or Mr. Big Top Rodeo, I guess is be you. Getting your coffee handed to you and everything this morning. Yours are just rodeo pictures, you said, which, by the way, I do enjoy looking at just the same because it kind of shows the history and the path of what a lot of these guys have taken. And
and it made me go back in time and get pictures from the old days.
Actually, you know what I think we should do, Chris? Hey, Chris, I know what I've got. And I promised this to Brad Narducci and Richard Jones multiple times. I have a CD of Scott from college.
Oh, the guitar?
Oh yeah. Man. Dude, I'm telling you, the Tiger King has nothing on Grover.
Who's the Tiger King?
Oh, yes.
Are you kidding me?
Netflix?
Yeah.
On Netflix? Yeah,
you have not watched that yet, Chris?
Wild show.
No, what is it?
As Jared Slagle said, this is the best 6 hours of the quarantine. And he's probably right. So down in Wynwood, Oklahoma, there's a guy by the name of Joe Exotic that has had this exotic animal farm down there, I think, since like 97.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about this. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, he has his own music videos that he was producing. And it kind of reminded me of Grover back in college. So
he had a short country music career. Short.
Yeah. He used to play.
I've always played. I've always wrote. I've always sang. And some guys in college talked me into putting a CD together. So there's about 6-7 songs on it. I don't know.
Hey, can you give us just a quick snap of one of them?
No.
I bet he doesn't even remember. I bet he doesn't even remember the words to some of them.
It's not my greatest work in the world.
But anyway, I do have it on my MP3 player, my original iPod, because I downloaded it just so it would forever be encapsulated in time. So I have promised Jones and Narducci that I would get them that CD, and I need to do that.
Yeah, but that's more of
they can just play me and Colby Yates all night.
Dude, you couldn't even carry Colby Yates' bucket in the CD.
No, Colby Yates. Colby Yates pretty good. Colby Yates had a real album. Mine was just literally a guitar, me.
We got burned off after a 12-pack of Coors Light.
Yeah, exactly.
Burning CDs.
Yeah, not a great idea. Hey, what's on the menu today? What's on the menu tonight for food?
Oh, it's school.
Well,
my lunch menu is it's Wednesday. So in our school district, it's chicken patty Wednesday or pizza. And today I went with pizza. So it's pizza on the Traeger today.
Okay. What about tonight? You got your menu for tonight?
Actually, tonight we got to be in the barn, and so kids are going to try and exercise horses and everything. So it'll probably.
So that means I'm cooking. So that means you're going to eat what I'm cooking.
No, because we're self-quarantined. I'm not going anywhere close to you.
Oh, that's true.
So
Right,
we
sorry.
will. We'll probably just throw burgers on when we get back from the barn. Something quick.
Well, feel free to swing by and pick up helpers.
Helpers. I don't
Yeah,
need
the
any
helpers.
helpers. You and Carrie or the rest of
No.
your crew? Chris has got college age. Well, semi-college
Post-college
age.
age. No, post-college age.
Post-college age.
Post
20,
post-college
25,
age.
25, and 25.
Yeah.
Are they all 325? Really?
Give or take a year or two.
25.
So they're all in the house right now because you can't
Townhouse.
go back. You can't go back
Townhouse.
to school.
Ooh. Yeah, you
Townhouse.
have a townhouse and Cody.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Scott just
He
paused on
froze.
us. Oh, now he's back.
My house has wheels.
Your house has wheels.
Mine doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Mine doesn't.
And a big steering wheel.
Mine does not.
All right. Hey, so real quick, go back. Somebody, I know we're talking about menus. Menus tonight. Let's see. We've had chili. We've had bacon and grilled cheese.
Just bacon. Like you didn't
had-
have anything else. Yeah,
Just
we had.
bacon.
We just had bacon tonight for dinner.
And what's your point? It's a good thing we were stocked up.
Okay.
Good thing we were
I guess,
stocked up.
it was just bacon.
We had tacos. Tonight,
Yeah.
we had homemade chicken noodle soup.
Here's the thing. People that let's talk about this whole quarantine being at the grocery store. So I ran to the grocery store the other day to pick up some necessities and things for here
I'm
at
calling
the house.
BS. Wait, Scott, you'll have to back. I'm calling BS. I can't believe you ran anywhere. If so, hey, next time you run somewhere, have one of your kids video for us.
Yeah.
Because I'm not believing.
Okay, well, you two are gonna have to keep talking because it's just like we said. I just got my low battery sign and I'm down to 8%. So you all talk about food. I'll be right back.
So I'm glad I was the only one that was prepared today. An hour later,
That's a good point. There you go.
but
It's all.
well,
It is what it is.
I've got a pork roast on the Traeger already at
Mm,
250 degrees. I'm gonna make some Cowboy Beans and maybe an apple crisp if I have time.
There you go.
Call me
Are they-
Susie.
are they-
Call me Susie Homemaker.
Are they Bobby's Cowboy Beans? Or are they?
They're gonna be
Are they
my
Scott's Cowboy Beans?
They're gonna be my Cowboy Beans. So
There
who
you
knows how
go.
they'll turn out.
There you go.
I'm thinking about actually doing them over an open fire.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Haven't had that in a long time. In
the
a big
fog
old
ever
cast
lifts.
iron.
Yep. That's what I'm gonna try to do. Like as soon as we're done, go start the fire. Put them on there. Let them go all day.
Like how it gets like crispy around the top of the.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And I got a big old pork bone and some pulled pork from the other day. Throw in there with it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. All right.
So we're plugging back in. Anything else you want to talk about, Chris?
No, I think if we, I keep on going back to the Facebook thing because I'm tired as crap of the whole political, he said, she said, they said, we said,
Right.
It's like, and I have my stance and I'm sure other people do too, not looking to, microphone it out to the world, but holy crap, let's move forward. It's
I'm just tired of watching. I'm tired of TV.
Amen.
Like, I'm tired of the news. I'm TV,
Yeah.
no, but the news, I'm just.
Right. How many Netflix series have you watched? Have you been on it all?
We haven't got into Netflix.
Okay.
Part of that is our internet's not that good out here. So we have we have Disney Plus that you can't even use. Like literally cannot use it. We have Fubo, which is an online TV subscription.
Right.
For Statler to watch Power Rangers on, and that's pretty much it, because we just don't have enough streaming signal out here to do what we need to do.
So Cody, how many? Well, take a deep breath. Ooh.
I ran. You
All
just
right.
said I don't run anywhere. I had to run all the way across the house and come back.
I still don't believe it.
I just ran.
He shuffled.
Yeah.
No, I just
walked
ran because
fast.
there's two. Bull crap! I just ran because there's two
If you-
pictures that are now out of place because I was running.
that the floor was bouncing and
That's my point. So, you can
so hey,
kiss hind.
so
All
how
right.
many? So Cody, here's what we're talking about. How many? How much time have you logged on Netflix or any of the other streaming
To be
services?
100% honest, 100% honest. I've watched 2 episodes of The Tiger King, and it's been after everybody's gone to bed. As I laid in bed, watched it on my phone. And we watched American Idol the other night. Outside of that, and we've been outside. Like last night, we built a fire around the Cade picked up all the sticks in the yard and picked up 2 bucketfuls of pine cones from our cedar trees. And we built a fire and sat outside till it was time to come in and shower. And then everybody was settled and going to bed. And then I watched 2 episodes last night. I don't know that we had the TV on at all beyond maybe my oldest watching a little, I think she watched something over lunchtime yesterday. And the day before that, I know we didn't even turn it on. So
I hardly watch
trying to
TV,
go
but
out.
I've listened to Rump Chat a lot, laying in
Yeah.
bed, I've been listening to a couple episodes of Roadcast right before I go to sleep. And
I was gonna say I've had
I've just kind of been podcasting it. Honestly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I've podcasted a bunch because I've had my AirPods in and been outside, and I've been working on my garage and my living quarters horse trailer. For whatever reason, came back from that rodeo, plugged it in, and then all of a sudden, my propane, as we talked about, my propane CO2 deal just keeps going off, and so finally, I turned off everything. I've done everything I know how to do. I've watched every. That's the only thing I have done. Yeah, I've been on a bunch of YouTubes on Atwood propane CO2 dual sensors, trying to figure out how to fix it. And I think it's finally, as I learned, they're only good for 2 years. Did you guys know that? They're only good for 2
No.
years in those trailers because they sit and then they're used and then they sit and then they're used, and the sensors go out on them. So mine is actually 5 years old. And so
I think
just
somebody
had
told
to
you
pull
the
it out.
other day, didn't they? You were talking to somebody and they said, "Hey, you just have a bad sensor. Just go replace it." I can't remember.
You know
who
what?
that
I don't
was.
know that that's a confirmed bad sensor yet, so I'm not giving you any credit until then. But I am going to have to get it replaced. But in the meantime, I went ahead and unwired it because the constant beep was getting to be annoying. So
This should prove to all of our friends out there that we need content. So if you are watching the podcast, first off, if you're friends of any of us, even if you're just friends with me and you don't like the other 2 guys, that's fine. Share us because that helps us get listeners. And give us ideas of what you want us to talk about. Because I've had a lot of people say, "Hey, we love what you guys are doing. We love that you're breaking down rodeo. It's informational. You're giving us what happened over the weekend." Well, there's nothing happening right now. Not a lot happening with Western sports. So if you've got something that you want to learn.
But I'm gonna interrupt you because we
Okay.
do have a number of guys that we put on what we call our conversation series. That's a little
Exactly.
different than our weekly recap and those things. And
Yep.
we have a number of those that we're going to keep dropping. And guys that we've set up to have those conversations with, and girls. I mean, there's a little bit of everything. So we're trying hard.
And if there's
to make
anybody
sure.
you want to, and if there's somebody you want to see us have a conversation with, tell us.
Nominate.
Yeah.
Nominate. Send us a message. Send us an email. Send us a text. And I know as we've acquired some and we've got them in the bank and we start to drop them, we're always looking for more.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of, as we break down the sport, I think there's a lot of things that people can still learn and we can have a lot of conversations about. People say to us, what does a stock contractor do on a daily basis? Well, there's been a lot of conversations about what they do and the funny stories that are behind them. Rodeo clowns, announcers, prep work. I've enjoyed. I've listened to the Rump Chat, Bob Tallman, both of them now twice.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Just because I think that there's a lot of little things I was missing because I was working and not paying attention, and then I try to pay attention because to see somebody like Bob Tallman, who has been in the industry as long as he has and lived through rodeo from grassroots to now, and then to have him say, "We've never had anything like this," I think is a true testament to our sport to say, "Hey guys, it's okay. Everybody's going to be okay. We'll live through it," because they lived through some crazy stuff back in the day. Long before you and I or Chris, and even as old as Chris is, I mean, before that. So, I mean, there's a time where, as people that are within the industry, we don't know the hardships that some of them had to face. We didn't go through the gas crisis of the 70s. If you hear some of the old stock contractors talk about trying to get from one rodeo to the next in their old trucks, and they didn't have enough fuel, and they were having to get fuel to go to the next, guys that rodeoed back then that would have to ration where they couldn't go because they couldn't get fuel. And so, I mean, there's a lot of stories that we don't know that are still out there that I think, this is our pandemic right now. There's been other hardships previously in rodeo. And so it's also a good point to say, hey guys, if we don't fix what we're doing with whatever it may be, as far as PETA and animal rights and butts in the seats and all those things, this is what life is going to be like. So we have to fix those things now so we don't get to that point. Because it sucks, doesn't it? We're 5 days in on our stay at home or shelter order or whatever. Yeah. And we're all like, we want to go. It's who we are.
Yep.
That was my soapbox.
Anything else you guys want to cover today?
No, I was just going to mention, I've texted back and forth with probably 6 of the guys, and just, and all of them have got the same one from me. It's amazing some of the responses. I get the whole, my text to them is, hey, hope your family's doing well. And then I usually get one back, say, hey, we are doing well. Hope, so the pleasantries. But my big question is always, are you bored yet? And without there's not one exception. Every one of them were like, bored out of my mind. And it's, that you're not preparing for something. You don't have, it's that whole routine. And, as you talk about our industry, and that's just the riders. That's not, for good or bad, the farmers, the ranchers, the stock contractors, they're still out. It's a daily
still have something to do every day.
Yeah. They didn't get quarantined. They didn't get shelter in requirements and all that kind of stuff, because animals have to eat. And as you guys know, because it's, it's part of your everyday life as well. But without it, and the funniest one was Stetson's, and I can't even say it on our podcast. It just said, yeah, I'm bored, basically. And it's just kind of curious how these guys are spending their time, how they overcome it. And for some, man, and actually Stetson's one of them I was going to mention. Hey, there's, we were talking about how this break is going to benefit Jose. It's going to benefit Jess. It's going to benefit. But you think about, we've been talking about on our podcast the last 3 weeks about, guys like Stetson who are beat up.
Beat up.
And we were talking about how the NFL, schedule takes so much out of those guys, and how we were kind of correlating it. It's this a natural break, and I hopefully these guys are getting healthy and taking advantage of it, staying out, but then, I don't know. I saw Jose and a couple of the other Brazilian guys doing the whole toilet paper juggling, the soccer, juggling the soccer ball, except it was a roll of toilet paper. Did you guys see that?
Yeah. Surprised that hasn't been blocked from Facebook as insensitive yet. Because I should. So the PBR, the USA Today did a story about the PBR and us going to Duluth, Georgia, playing in front of empty seats. I shared that on my Facebook. Next day, it got blocked for insensitive content.
Really?
A few days later, it's put back up. Sorry, we made an error. Like insensitive of what?
Here's my insensitive to all of it. It goes back to my soapbox a few minutes ago, and I firmly believe this. That's why I'm going to say it again. We in the rodeo world, Western sports world, better pay attention, because this is what life is like for those people that were in the circus.
Yep.
And so we have to pay attention. I don't want to sound too serious. I like to be lighthearted and fun about it. But guys, those that were in the circus, Scott, you and I know a handful of them that were full-timers. They're waitresses. We know one that's a mechanic that should have never been a mechanic.
No.
As one of the greatest voices and can host.
One of the most talented guys I've ever met.
Yeah, as a mechanic at a Jiffy Lube, because when the circus went down, they went down with it. we can't allow rodeo to ever go down because
No.
there's too many of us. So we got to,
No.
this is a good eye opener for all of us to, you know, that. And I tell you what, the first 2 weeks when we do fire back up on all levels, look out because those fans are going to get us.
Dude, it's going to be
That
live.
excites me.
Yeah.
And that's what's got me a little bit bothered. And somebody posted this the other day, and I think it was a very, very smart post. Contestants, when those rodeos do start back up and they happen to have to drop their added money, because sponsorship's not going to be there the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's all these companies they're going to have to tone back on some. There's not going to be as many sponsors that are going to say yes in 2020 as they might in 2021. So if that rodeo that had 5,000 added cuts back to 3, don't be mad at that committee. It's probably all they can do. Yeah. And the deal is, I really feel like when we can go back, we're going to have record crowds again. But there's going to but committees are going to have to be creative on how they're going to do it. Mm-hmm. So the ones that have canceled and said, "Hey, we'll see you in 2021," I get it. I understand that they think they're not going to have the sponsorship money or whatever. I just hope when it comes back that contestants across the board support every rodeo that they can go to, because they're going to need every rodeo now. You know, they're going to have to go to as many as possible.
They're going to have to go to all of them, though, Scott.
You're going to have to go to those $1,000 rodeos. You're going to have to go to those $1,500 rodeos. And the $10,000 rodeo might only be able to add $7,000. But we're going to have to come together as an industry to really make this work, or we're going to see a lot of those rodeos next year not go pro or not even have one at all.
I said the other day I want to make a shirt that says I'm ready for slack, because that's what the rodeo industry is going to have when it comes back. We're going to have more. I hope we have more slack than we've ever had at every rodeo. I hope every rodeo has slack, because that slack is going to be the backbone and the core of the summer rodeos. And those guys have got to remember that.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, big deal. Like I said, we're going to have to support everything that we can, be on the same page, come together. Like the country is going to come together when we open this deal back up. We're going to have to come together as Western sports, not bickering over who's getting paid this, who's getting paid that. We're all just going to have to go for a year, and the rest of the year, figure it out and build it bigger and better for next season.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, guys?
Well, I got one thing. I was going to read this. I know it's a good time to talk about the sponsors and partners and things like that. And as we, we're able to have a voice and do this, and we've partnered and worked with a lot of groups. The sponsor of this segment, I'm just going to read this, make sure. It says this segment of the Two Big Guys in Grover is brought to you by our military and our first responders and warriors in rodeo. WAR is a nonprofit organization that focuses on our American heroes in rodeo, ranch, and the Western lifestyle. WAR is an organization at war against suicide, depression, PTSD, and other effects of service to country. We protect those who protect us. To find out more, go to www.warmissions.org. That's warmissions.org. On Facebook at Warriors and Rodeo, and Instagram and Twitter at Warriors Rodeo.
I think that's a great point. And it falls back on, we have a lot of people that, especially rodeo fans, rodeo, Warriors and Rodeo has been they're a great affiliate of ours, partnership, however you want to look at them. But there's a lot of guys that have already been through what we're going through right now as a society, being stationed away from their families, being, fighting a good fight. And yet we take it for granted. And I think that's, if nothing else, take it away that there is a group out there that, I saw something, just side note, that did say that the number of suicides will go up in the next 60 days. And that's scary to me, to think that people are going to get to that point. But especially in the rodeo
just military
world,
and rodeo.
That's what I'm saying. That's everybody. That was the point. That was the point, is they say society as a whole is going to see a spike in suicides. And it's like, guys, reach out to anybody, anytime, anywhere. Don't think you don't have a voice. Don't think they won't talk to you. And especially in rodeo, Warriors and rodeo, we've talked with this group. I mean, Sherry has done a fantastic job, and there's, you always have people say good and bad about everything on this earth. But guys, if one good thing comes out of it, we save one life, and it's all of those things, it's the truth. Western Sports Foundation said it the best. I think this last year we were at a meeting, maybe it was 2 years ago during the PBR finals, and they said, man, if all of our efforts only help one bull rider, then we did our job. And I used to think, wow, that's kind of a conceited thought process. And now I think, no, it's the truth, because that one person needed it at that point. And I firmly believe that now. Maybe it's the maturity, maybe it's, I'm getting older. I'm not as old as Cris. I always point that out, that he's definitely, people are always like, hey, is that your brother? No, dude, that guy that could almost be my dad. He's that old. So,
well, we actually do have someone say, hey, I talked to your son.
Yeah, I
did.
You didn't. Yeah. The guy's like, hey, I talked to your dad the other day. I'm like, you talked to my dad? Which wouldn't surprise me if you talked to my dad, because dad'll talk to everybody. But I'm like, you mean Cris? Yeah, yeah. So anyway,
hey, Scott. A reminder for you. So you do Thoughts on the Road. Do you know that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, I think we need that. Thoughts in quarantine, or thoughts just in general. You need. I always appreciate that. I always appreciate when you share those. I think a lot of other people do too.
I'm gonna write one up this week.
By the way, does Statler write those out, or do you?
No, I don't have very good handwriting, man. It just is what it is. My handwriting is not great.
Hey, it's the message, man.
That
I appreciate it. You can write it with a crayon, and I appreciate it.
It probably looked better.
So, yeah, there's a lot of, and I appreciate that, Cris. I've had a lot of feedback on that, but yeah, I write like a doctor, but I'm far from being a doctor.
Doctor of love.
Doctor of love. All right. It is, it's almost lunchtime.
It is.
Which means
I got to get back to my schedule.
I hear the bells are ringing.
The bells are going to be ringing here in a minute at my house.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us this week on another quarantine episode of the Two Big Guys in Grover podcast. Join us next week, and we will hopefully talk about something more developing in Western sports.
Amen.
Or we'll just talk about good stuff and bring you good news, and I'll give you a verbal thoughts on the quarantine thoughts on the road. So
until next time,
stay tuned. Later.